No, I can't turn my camera on.
What?
I can't turn on my camera on.
Yeah, I think it's broken or something. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Now today we are going to start a debate about history debate. So can someone tell me what is a history debate? Let me call. Of course, uh, Jerry, can you tell me what is a history debate is?
I think history debate is about debating about what is the true history.
Yeah, okay. So thank you, Jerry. So let us see what is history debate for today. So can someone read for me what is history debates? Okay. Can I ask Sarah, please? Sarah, can you read for me what is history debate?
What is history debate? History debates involve discussing and evaluating different inter- interpretations of historical events, figures, policies, and their impact on the present. These debates often focus on the causes and consequences of events, the motivations of historical figures, and the lesson we can learn from the past. It is important to study the past for us to understand the present.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. So so just like Sarah has read, history debate is about policies, the politicians, the policies, the figures that are the in debate that is slightly about politics. If like historic events history event like the events like Christmas Eve or the French Revolution, for example, and what do they impact on the present? So, for example, if the French Revolution, what do it impact on the French today? So that is what it mainly circling around that topic. Maybe the motion is about historic events, it's about Donald Trump, it's about French Revolution, etc. It's like history debate. So this debate is focused on the cause and the consequences of events, the motivations of historical figures, and the lesson we can learn from the past. So it is important to study the past for us to understand the present. So now we will reach on to what is the key aspects of history debate. So what do we need to do in the history debate? So the first one is the interpretations of evidence, which means that different historians may interpret the same evidence in varied ways. Understanding the interpretations is crucial. So for example, you have a evidence which is the earth is wait history debates. For example, you have an idea that King King Louis the King Louis in the French Revolution he was brought down by the citizens. You so the historians, different historians, they may said that Louis was stepped down by this, by that, by those. So you have to combine all of these to like list out the evidence that they are trying to say and look at what is the most accurate to put into your speech. Secondly is the historical content. This is about the consider of social, the people around us, the economic, which is about money or something, political, which is the politicians, and so everything about politics. And cultural content, which is the cultural context is about the culture that we are living in which events occur. So they mainly, the simple word for this is which events occurred in what, when, how, etc. places and time, and you should have the accurate thing for that. Thirdly is the impact and consequences, which is you have to analyze the short term and the long term. The short term is something that happened in a short amount of time. It's likely to have consequences or benefits in a short time, and long term effects is something that happen in the long term. They will likely to happen forever if some and they will stop when something change or something even when something change they will just keep going on. So that is the long term. They happen in the long run and they don't stop. Of effects is the consequences of historical events and decisions. So what do historical events and decisions they impacted on the short-term and long-term effect? What about the French Revolution? The short-term, what's the impact of the French Revolution? So what is the long-term effects? The short-term effects is that people keep chopping their heads off and people don't trust each other. The long-term effect that they can push down the greedy ruler and make France a better place is something that I read. Fourthly is the historiography, which is to study how historical narrative and perspective have changed over time. So when you are living in the culture, a long time ago, they have a saying that we have to prioritize male and we should not prioritize female. So likely that narrative and that perspective, it will change over time. Today we have a society that is female and male are equal to each other. Fifthly is the comparative analysis, which is compare different historical events or periods to draw broader conclusion. So it's like the first one, which is you have to pick many things. You have to pick different historical essay or article to combine it, and then you read and then you have a broader conclusion. Also, can someone read for me the important notes, please? Can I ask Sony, please? Can you read for me the important note? Okay, thank you, Sony. There is something with your mic. With your mic. I think that it's not good. So I think that you should replace it. Okay. So, like Sony said, in a debate, you need to read a lot so that you should know how to debate historical concept. Because if you don't read a lot, you don't have anything to say. For example, if they are talking about the French Revolution, if you don't read about the French, you don't know anything to debate. So you just blurted out random stuff. Yes. Let's go on. So the causes of the causes of European colonizations on Africa. So this is likely the European, they colonized, which means they set your foot onto the Africa, and now we have And now we have a few examples of what is the debate point and the argument is, and we have a sample, which is the justification of dropping the atomic bombs on Japan. This is like the Americans, they drop atomic bombs, for example, on Japan, which killed a lot of people, 2 bombs. Yes. Firstly, we have the impact of European colonizations on Africa. Can I ask someone to read me the debate points, please? Okay, Jerry.
So I read the argument part.
Yeah, the debate points. The debate points.
Okay, so the proponents of colonization argue that it introduced infrastructure, education, and governance systems. But critics argue that it led to the exploitation of resources, cultural destruction, and long-term social economic issues.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. So can you tell me what do you understand after reading this part?
I understand that the colonization of Africa bring civilization like medicine, education, infrastructure to Africa, but it was also bad because Europeans exploited resources and humans, and they destroyed cultural and make long-term social economic issues in Africa.
Okay.
So I think that there are two faces of good and bad things.
Okay, so can I ask a personal question, which is which one do you prefer? Like, do you prefer the opposition, which the proposition where they say that colonization, they will like introduce infrastructure and boost Africa up, or you on the disagreeing side, which you said that the lead is will be the explorations of resources and they will have human labor export to European. What side do you want to choose? It's your personal choice. I won't force you. Okay. So thank you, Jerry. Please lower your hand. So this example, the first one is the debate point, is the question that we need to ask here is, did European colonizations bring modernity to Africa, or did it lower African societies? And the argument is, like Jerry have said, the the proposition side, they might say that, oh, they will improve infrastructure and they will modernize Africa. They will also have government system. But the other side, the opposition, they say that it will lead to exploitations of resources, cultural destruction, etc. Which means that they will exploit labor too. And in a debate, you have to decide which one will win and which one will lose. The sample, which is the justification of dropping the atomic bombs on Japan. The argument, can someone explain to me the argument? Can someone read to me the arguments? Zoe, please. Zoe? Okay. Zoe, are you here? Wait, can some Wait, is Zoe left? Has Zoe left? Okay, Zoe left. How about Moon? Can you read for me the arguments, please?
Arguments. Proponents of colonization argue that it introduced infrastructure, education.
The sample, which is the justification of dropping the atomic bombs of Japan.
The supporters claim the bombings saved lives by avoiding a prolonged invasion. Opponents argue that Japan was close to surrendering and that the bombings
Okay, so thank you, Moon. Okay, Moon, you can unmute now. So yes, the justification for dropping atomic bombs on Japan, you will have two sides. The agreeing side, which you said that supporters claim that bombing will save life by avoiding an invasion, for example. I don't know what invasion it is. The opposition, they claim that, oh, Japan was close to surrendering and that bomb will cause unnecessary suffering. So in my opinion, I would go to the opposition side because it caused many people to die, and I don't know what the causes is or the consequences is. The American, they decided to tax on Japan. I don't know why. Okay, let's read to the resolve motion, which is that atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were justified. Yes. Okay, so can someone tell me what is the interpretation of the affirmative side? You will read the interpretations of evidence, historical context, impact and consequences, and historiography. Can someone read it for me? I will ask Lily.
Yes.
Yeah, you can read for me the affirmative side.
The affirmative side. Do I read all?
You read all the page.
Okay. Interpretations of evidence. The bombings and word were tools swiftly preventing further casualties. Historical context. At the time, Japan showed no signs of surrendering, and the alternative could have been a prolonged and daily invasions. Impact and consequence. The bombing saved countless lives that would have been lost in the continued combat. Historiographies. Many historians agree with the bombing were necessary to force Japan's surrender and demonstrate the power of the atomic bomb to deter future conflicts.
Okay, so thank you. So affirmative side, they said that the bombing that ended World War II, which after that they ended all, they will prevent further consequences. They said that at the time Japan showed no signs of surrendering, they might invade all. And the alternative would be a deadly invasion. So the American they afraid that, and Then they said that the bombing safeguarded lives that would have been lost in continued combat. But many historians argue that the bombing were necessary to force Japan's surrender and demonstrate the power of the atomic bomb to deter future conflicts. But yeah, let me explain my point. I don't really understand why did it stop and what is necessary to. Okay, moving on to the arguments that in an argument if we look like this. So can I ask Zoe to read it for me?
So, in an argument, this look like labor historiography definitions. Historiography is the studies of how history is written and interpreted. Example, many historians agree with that the bombings were necessary to force Japan surrender and demonstrate the power of the atomic bomb to deter future conflicts. The impact is this historical perspective supports the argument that the bombings were a strategic move to end an war and prevent future wars. Importance understanding historiography provides a broader view of the bombings significance in war history.
Okay, thank you. So likely, so thank you, Zoe. So in an argument, it might look like this. So Zoe, happy to you. I will pause it for a few seconds for you to read it again if you didn't understand. Okay. Okay, let me move on to the next one. So now you have to create a full speech for the following motion. Make sure to apply all your learnings. You are free to do your own research about the matter. You are free to do the research, for example, on Wikipedia or something. You can even search ChatGPT, but don't copy your full speech in ChatGPT and then read it to me. So task 1, which is the motion, is resolved that the Roman Empire did more harm than good, and task 2, that the United Nations have failed to prevent major conflict. Task 3 is your homework. Maybe if you don't finish task 2 or task 3, maybe your homework. Okay.